Hey, hello there, and welcome to Talking with Tony. Look, this time of year, we're generally talking a lot of college and pro football, but because it's coming up at the end of the year and all these great movies are being released, each year we take time to pause. We will talk a little football and have some football picks, but we're so blessed to have part of the Talking with Tony family, Daniel Cummings in Dallas, Texas, and he is our chief, well, he's a professional film critic, so obviously he's our chief film critic. We also have John Perkison on staff too. But we're bringing in Daniel, and Daniel, I know you're excited because the month now that we're in the month of December is all about these releases coming out and a pile of good movies to get to.
Absolutely. It's been hard to keep up, honestly. I've been driving here and there and everywhere to neighboring cities to get all the early screenings. It's been a ton of fun.
But we're going to talk Auburn, Alabama football game. But before I do that, you don't have to tell me like how good it was or your thoughts on it. What is the last movie that you went and saw at the theater?
I went and saw, I'll give you two answers because one of them was for the second time. I saw Wake Up Dead Man for a second time in theaters yesterday, the Knives Out movie, and the last first watch that I've had was Sentimental Value a couple days before that.
And what is the last streaming movie you've seen?
I think that would be Train Dreams on Netflix.
Yeah. Uh, my most recent streaming is on Netflix also was Frankenstein, which is, better than I expected. Maybe not as good. I thought maybe not as good as some people believe it is, but it was better than I expected. I have to see the Train Dreaming movie as well. Last movie I saw in the theater was Black Phone 2, which I went in with expectations because I was such a fan of the first one. And I left the first one where there was one of those rare times where a movie exceeded my expectations. I shouldn't have went in with expectations for the second one because I left a little disappointed, especially in the final 20 to 30 minutes. Your thoughts on Black Phone 2 first?
Haven't seen it. I was actually on vacation when it came out, and we were at the beach, and I just never found a time to break away. By the time I got back, it was the first week of November, and I had all the October movies to catch up on. So I was going and seeing the Springsteen movie, and I was watching Frankenstein in theaters as well, and Die My Love with Jennifer Lawrence. There were just so many movies to watch, and I never got around to Black Phone 2.
Okay, I can forgive you on that. I will say that since you just mentioned the Knives Out movie, I thought they lost their way with the second one. I thought the first one was really good, and I thought the second one, but this one kind of gets them back on the right track. I would say I don't believe it'll get a Best Picture nomination, but I believe it's in that next tier of movies. Your thoughts?
Yeah, these movies have so far been two for two for getting a screenplay nomination. This one will fall in adapted since it's technically a sequel. I don't see any hope in this one getting Best Picture either, and that's fine. These movies are fun, but I do think that this one is a lot more thoughtful than the first two. If a movie is weighty enough in that series to be in the best picture run or in the best picture race. I think this one is it. It's actually got some really cool themes in it, and they're always super well made. And I'm happy to see them show up for screenplay because they're so sharply written.
Okay, folks, if you're just now tuning in and talking with Tony, we have Daniel Cummings of Dallas, Texas as our guest. We always give out football picks from our panel. I'm going to give out a few of those here tonight. We're going to talk mainly movies. I'm 27 and 24 on the season, and I'm 10 and 4 of my five stars. I will just tell you this week, my five star is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs -4. They were one of my picks last week, and I lost on them to where a team where Daniel lives right there, the Dallas Cowboys, who are my favorite NFL football team and have been since I was a little kid. I thought the Chiefs were in those situation where they have to win. They're certainly in a situation. I think they need to win out just to have an opportunity to make the playoffs. So I'll take them -4 against another team from the state of Texas, the Houston Texans, with my favorite quarterback, C.J. Stroud. I will start my picks telling you I'm going against the Cowboys again on Thursday night. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. The Lions are going the wrong way right now, and the Cowboys are going the right way. Well, when things are look like they're up, they're down, and down, they're up. So this time I'll go in reverse with the Detroit Lions. I'm taking Georgia in the SEC championship game. They're favored by 2.5 against Alabama. I have not been high on Georgia as far as picking against the spread this year. I do like them in this situation. Bama has to beat them for a second time in the same season. I'm always against things like that, like when basketball team has to play somebody three times in the same season. I do have one soccer play for everybody. It is on Thursday. This will be a quick turnaround on this show. It's in the Premier League. I'm 4-4 on the season in soccer and haven't done great, but I'll take Manchester United to win by one or more goals against West Ham. I do want to say of some five stars. John's five stars, Ohio State. My Buckeyes -5.5 in the Big Ten championship game. That's number one versus number two. So he likes Ohio State -5.5 against Indiana. Fred's five stars, Ohio State -5.5 against Indiana. And Stormy's five star, no surprise here. He goes with the Georgia Bulldogs -2.5. Just for, to show you for relevance here, Stormy is 9-5 with his five stars. He's done pretty well. I'm, like I said, 10-4, and John is 8-6. So we'll have all the picks at the end of the show. We'll stream all of those picks for all five panel members plus myself, who I gave you my three football picks plus one soccer pick. Daniel, you're an alumnus of Auburn University, and they have changed coaches again. Probably will be doing the same thing in about 3 or 4 years. Though the kids were motivated and they played very hard. They put themselves in a 17-0 deficit against Alabama, but they did not quit, and they had an opportunity to win. I know people coming down a little bit on Cam Coleman, that late fumble, but the kid was playing hurt. He was hurt early in the game and he was just trying to battle for extra yardage. But it was another frustrating defeat for Auburn.
It definitely was, and I hope Cam isn't taking it too hard because he really was leaving it all out there. As far as the coaching change goes, we just need to keep Durkin where he is, and hopefully this new guy can really develop at Auburn. I think that maybe it's a good choice to not have a very established superstar coach for a little while and see if we can really help someone grow here and help someone because he hasn't been head coach for a long time. And his record while he's been head coach isn't incredible. He's a very young coach. I want to say he's like 40 or something like that. So it's a big question mark for me, but at the same time, I want to be a little bit optimistic because picking these superstars like Hugh Freeze hasn't been working for us. So we'll see.
But when I hear him say we're going to outwork any staff, I then think like, okay, well, I've been following you the last 3 years. You're 38-25 at South Florida, which, could be worse. Freeze's record at Auburn, was worse than that the last 3 years. But Freeze is, facing SEC in whereas this guy was not. He was facing AAC, and he gave up 59 points in 2023 to Memphis in a loss. In fact, he's 0-3 against where I'm in Memphis, Tennessee tonight against Memphis. He lost to him again this year with a really good football. He had a really good football team, but he lost to him. And Memphis is, they've lost three in a row. They're 8-4. It's not like they're 11-1 or 10-2 this year. To your point about Durkin, I was actually hoping he might get the job. I'd love to see him stay and keep some of these defensive assistants. I did notice where Coach Golich has already brought like five people with him, but the defensive coordinator was not one of them. The offensive coordinator was, and Cody Burns, the former Auburn quarterback slash wide receiver, part of the Auburn national championship team, I believe, wasn't he? Like I want to say he was.
2004.
He he is coming back to Auburn as an assistant coach and an assistant head coach, I believe, is what he was. Assistant head coach is his official title. But the defense coordinator not coming, so maybe Durkin stays if they sit down and they can work out something, and maybe that would keep some of these defensive guys who could be going to the portal. We know like Falk will go to the draft early because he's a stud and he's a junior, he's draft eligible, but. I hope you're right. I hope that they sit down and they can find an agreement with Durkin, and I hope Durkin will say, "Hey, yeah, I'm willing to stay," because I really felt like if he was as good as his choice as anyone.
I completely agree with you. And I felt the way about Cadillac back a couple years back. Like, just give him a shot. I think he just infused the program with a lot of energy there at the end of the season. And you could see the players were hungry the end of this year. They really were. They were putting points up on the board, albeit against some opponents who are not as fierce competition as Georgia and Bama, but we were putting some serious points on the board, and it just felt like we really wanted it, which is a good feeling.
When you were still a student there 4 years ago, they should have beat Alabama, and Tank goes out of bounds and leaves a little bit of time for Alabama, and they go down and they something they hadn't been able to do all night. They get a touchdown to force overtime, and then goes four overtimes and you lose. We all know the ridiculous outcome 2 years ago on fourth down and 31. This was another winnable game. I mean, this is what, six straight losses in this series. I mean, how high are we going to go here?
Quick point. They have not won since I was in the stadium watching. So maybe I need to go back.
Well, are you available to get to Tuscaloosa next year? Because we'll even try the theory over there first.
I mean, I might, but yeah, freshman year and after that, I was working on Iron Bowl day, so I never got to go back. But that first year, I was unmarried and I was able to take the night and actually go, and we won, and we haven't since. So
Well,
my fault.
I might see what I can do to get you to Tuscaloosa because I'm 2-0 in Tuscaloosa with victories in 1990, no, victories in 2000 and 2004, the undefeated season of 2004 and the pouring down rain. And then in 2000, where it like sleeted some, had a little bit of mixed snow, a little bit of rain. And I'm not going to go back to Tuscaloosa. I'm going to retire 2-0. I can be pretty proud of that. And of course, I was in the stadium for the famous Kick Six game and amongst others. But all right, hey, you want to talk? You want to talk some movies now?
It's what I'm good at.
Start with director.
Okay.
To me, is this just Paul Thomas Anderson's time and nobody else is really in contention? I know there's some good movies out there, but this seems like one battle after another. It's in a two-horse race for Best Picture with my movie Hamnet that I'm so excited about. But for director, this is his award, right?
I agree. I think Hamnet is really strong, and I think that Hamnet could easily pick up a Best Picture package that consists of some acting wins as well as potentially screenplay and production design. It could get enough of a package to steal Best Picture from one battle after another. But if they don't give PTA Best Director this year, I don't know if they're ever going to have a better excuse, ever. I mean, it's on a huge scale, and he just directs the heck out of that movie. It looks so good. And the resume, we talk a lot about people's resumes on this show, and nobody has a better resume than him. So even when we see Marty Supreme in a couple of weeks, if that movie is just immaculately directed, Josh Safdie probably has, 60 more years of good filmmaking ahead of him. PTA is in his mid 50s now, and he's been putting out great movies for over 30 years. So I think this is the time. This is his time, and I really hope he takes it home.
The only pushback I would give you is there been a time in the past where you thought, hey, he's gonna, like this time I feel like, hey, he's gonna win. I don't know if I've ever gone into an Academy Awards season feeling like, even though he's got that resume that you just mentioned, that this was his time.
I haven't either, and that is part of why I really feel like he's going to take it this time because he's never made a movie this mainstream in his life. This is like the most fun movie he's made where a lot of people showed up to watch it, including people who don't know who PTA is. Even though it wasn't a financial home run, it still made almost $200 million, which he's never done before. It got a lot of butts in seats, and I love every movie he's made, but I didn't leave The Master and think, oh, he's going to take it home for that. Because that was not a popular movie. This one is extremely popular. It's getting memed all over the internet. It's got a lot of momentum, and I just think that it's really his time.
If you throw Leonardo DiCaprio and a Sean Penn in a movie, what generally tends to happen?
It's going to be a banger.
Yeah. I think I think this is the one that I am feeling most confident about out of the awards that we generally talk. And look, we're going to have you back once we know who all is nominated before the Academy Awards. This is sort of our tease show that we do each year where we throw out some things. And we always say we have time to change our minds, but this is how we feel as of now. We haven't seen all the, well, not all the movies hadn't even been released yet, but we haven't seen all the movies. Let's get right to the one that is out right now, but I haven't been able to find. But you tell me that later on this week, it's going to be more available, not in Auburn, Alabama, by the way, but Hamnet is coming out in a more wider release this week. Now, it could be available the following week. They've got tons of movies. I'll still be in Memphis. As most of our viewers know, I have a broken fibula and a broken ankle. But if it is out on Thursday in one of these theaters, if I have to walk in the sleet and the rain to see this movie, I'm going to see this movie because if you've read any of my books, you should know the influence that Shakespeare is on me. He's my favorite writer. I quote him a lot in my books. I am fired up for this movie.
I hope it'll be there. I never even questioned that it would be in Auburn because I thought it was going to get a really wide release. It's a big Searchlights movie. I really thought that it was going to get a bigger release. So hopefully Memphis will have it readily available. I feel pretty certain they will. But yeah, I saw it at an early screening about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I really don't want to exaggerate, but it's one of the most emotional experiences I've had with a movie ever in my life. I think I'm telling you for the first time on air, but my wife's expecting. We're having a baby in March or April next year. And this movie, I think uniquely really hit me hard as we're thinking about that. It's obviously it has to do with personal tragedy and two parents going through something together, and it's speculating that it could have inspired the writing of the play Hamlet. And Jesse Buckley, who we talked about last time we had a show together, might give the best performance of the entire year. I mean, it is stunning. I could
She's
barely.
she's one of your favorite actresses anyway, correct?
One of my favorite working today, obviously, if you put her up against Grace Kelly and people who've had much longer careers that she might lose. But one of my favorite working today, she's only in her early to mid 30s. She hasn't been around that long, but she is only putting out great work at this point.
On the other subject, I want to wish you guys all the best and congratulations. And there's no doubt that you guys will be wonderful parents and that child will be blessed. So that is exciting news. And I imagine that you were feeling a little more thankful at Thanksgiving. And I'm sure coming at Christmas time, there's going to be a lot of well wishes and a lot of people providing gifts that you guys will be able to use for years to come, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. I'm learning the names of things I've never heard of before, bassinets and all that stuff. So that's fun.
Uh, well, hopefully a future Auburn Tiger because of the parents' background.
The only reason she won't be is if she doesn't go to college, which is fine. But if she goes to college, I don't see any reason it won't be at Auburn.
Good. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that breaking news here on
Sure. Figured it'd be
Talking
fun to.
Tony.
You figured it'd be fun to do it here.
And there's no doubt that this movie, this Hamlet, I mean, this is where we get Hamlet from. So, I mean, this was an inspiration, for it. So, uh, I can't wait to see it. And like I said, it's just got to be available for me to see on Thursday. I'm here through Sunday, and I've looked ahead, and unless they're hiding it, like on the release, you know how you can look ahead on the releases in theaters in Auburn and Opelika and such. I haven't been able to see it, and I'm like, oh, like where is it? Are they hiding it? It's just not. No, somebody needs to type it in. Yes, it is available.
I was really under the impression this was going to be, of all the Oscar nominees, one of the most populist ones. I really thought people were going to show up. Paul Mescal's really hot right now. Jesse Buckley's really hot right now. It's an Oscar-winning director who's also done a Marvel movie. So I really thought this was going to have a ton of momentum. I hope Auburn is just being lackadaisical and posting their showtimes. We'll see.
And look, that could be it too, because they are doing a good bit of advertising commercial wise on network television and some of the other ESPNs already for Hamnet too. And usually when you're spending that kind of money, you're making these movies available to go be seen at the theater, obviously to stream later, but in the theater also. They want you in theater. You gave this great stat. You've given it to us multiple times. How many movies does someone have to see? Give it to me again.
It's something like people need to go to the theater. It's somewhere between 3 and 4 times per year. The average moviegoer needs to put in 3 to 4 theater visits per year in order for Hollywood to continue on the trend that it's on.
And that's when you usually throw out, you're doing the work of how many people?
I'm doing the work for probably 60 people at this point. So
I mean, we do three or four easy in a month. I mean, sometimes I hit three or four in a week. I mean, I've seen a lot of bad movies the last 10 years or so. But I am so excited for that movie. And I'm always guarded on my expectations, but I think I have every reason to be excited. I'll tell you another movie that won't get Best Picture nomination, but I believe is in that next tier also that exceeded my expectations was F1. We mentioned a little bit about F1 last time you and I were together, and while it could get some nominations in the what I call secondary awards, it won't get any. But I believe if it were like 25 movies up for Best Picture, I think that it would be in consideration for one of those 25 spots.
I agree with you, and I think there is a path to it being in Best Picture. I think hold on to your horses. I'm gonna say it's like a less than 10% chance, but Wicked, I don't think it's getting in.
Hmm.
People did not like Wicked nearly as much as they liked part one. If Avatar is the same story, that's the two blockbusters that we really thought were going to be in. I don't think they want to have zero blockbusters nominated. So if both of those are like irreconcilably disappointing, I think they might bring F1.
Interesting. I could talk movies for hours with you, and I want to ask you this question. If Cynthia and Ariana are both nominated in their categories, does that carry enough for Wicked to be nominated for Best Picture, or could they be potentially both nominated and Wicked still not get one of the slots?
I think that could happen easily. People have just not been reacting very excitedly about this movie. Obviously, they could just the knee-jerk reaction could be the first one was nominated, this one gets nominated as well. Emilia Perez was a Best Picture nominee, anything can happen. But I just am not hearing the same responses, and also on social media, I'm not seeing the same reaction from general audiences. People are just much more mixed or much more mellow on this one. And so I'm not thinking it's as likely.
Well, I mean, I try to see everything that's nominated. I really do. And that goes for the best actors and supporting actors, and often for foreign films and original screenplay and adapted screenplay, and sometimes like short documentaries like last year. You won't catch me at this Wicked. And I wasn't at the other one, and I'm not upset about it. You're not going to catch me at this one. And I try to see everything. There is a movie that was out a long time ago that I believe is going to get Best Picture, and I believe you would agree with me. That's Sinners.
That's of the three that I'm most certain about, that one's there as well. One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Hamnet, I think are the top three slots right this moment.
I've asked you this before, but is that going to be a detriment come award season that it came out so early, whereas One Battle After Another got a little bit ahead of Hamnet and got in the theater first and is like already available, for people to, I guess, to stream. Is this going to be hurting Sinners? I mean, that it was so long ago that it was out?
I think the days of that really mattering are behind us. I think that the structure of campaigning at this point keeps these things fresh in everybody's minds. You get to see the making of, the featurettes, behind the scenes, and things like that. And in the past, theatrical releases and DVD releases were so important, but now that's not how these things live on. We have streaming and we have social media, and there's different ways that these movies stay fresh in everybody's mind. So I really don't think that we're still in an era where movies need to be crammed in the last 2 months, sometimes even the first 2 months of next year. I don't think we need to do that anymore.
Okay, fair. Let me ask you this. I know that we both like Jesse. We both like Paul. Paul, I mean, just tremendous. I don't know if anyone else from Hamnet would get nominated, whereas an acting awards, there could be two different categories that have multiple actors from One Battle After Another nominated. Does that give it an advantage in the best picture when you have that much star power behind it?
I think it could because there's literally like six roles in that movie that people are talking about as potential nominees, which is insane. Yeah, I think that being said, the movie might be nominated in 10, 11 categories, but it might get 14 nominations because it's going to double up in certain categories. And so people might just love that headline of how much success it's getting and how much it's steamrolling, and that might help it.
Well, Regina Hall, she will probably be nominated for supporting actress, won't she?
I'm not convinced on that.
Okay. I like her in that spot.
Yeah.
I'm
I think
looking
I
at
think it's great, but I'm not convinced yet.
there's another actress though, the Taylor.
Mhm.
Is it Triana? How do we say her name?
Tiana Taylor.
Yeah, she will probably be nominated.
She's the one I feel most certain about as far as actress or supporting actress.
Okay, and then I have to ask you about this because you said three movies that you feel for sure. I'm going to put a fourth one on there, and I don't know how you feel about it right now, but it's sentimental value.
It will be nominated. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we're on those are the four that I feel are slam dunks to get nominated. I have question marks about Avatar. I have question marks about Wicked, just like you do. I would not be surprised if Frankenstein, a movie I referenced earlier, makes the list. I love the opening. There's some things about movies that I love, like in snow and ice and ships and all. I really appreciated that prelude part of that. I have expectations for Marty Supreme. I don't, I need to see it, but I have four, and that fourth one right there is sentimental value. And it's the supporting actress that I was really impressed with, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it was Elle Fanning's role in that.
Why can't you believe you're saying that?
I just I'm
She's
shocked.
on a roll.
Dude, what did you say?
She's on a roll right now. She's killing it.
But I did not see this coming in this spot though.
She has taken some more interesting roles in TV acting than in film acting
Yeah.
recently. And
Yeah.
so I think that she's kind of like been hidden as far as her talents go, but she is ultra talented. She's not going anywhere anytime soon. She's not much older than me. I think that how much she's laid the groundwork of her career and how much freedom she has now to take the roles that she wants to, she might get off to a really exciting phase in the next several years.
Who I thought was sensational was the Skarsgård actor in this film.
He's great. I think this is kind of the capstone of his career. I don't think that there's going to be any more defining work, and he's probably the front runner for Best Supporting Actor at this point.
Now, it, nothing against Cynthia, but I really would like to see Jessie Buckley win for Hamnet, even though I haven't even seen it yet. But if she doesn't, okay, I'm more surprised at the performance or the reviews, at least I haven't seen it from Kate Hudson in Song Blue than even more so of Elle Fanning. You have any feedback for me here on this? Because this took me as a shock.
I would be very shocked if Song Sung Blue swooped in and stole it. What I am more convinced would happen is Amanda Seyfried in Testament of Anne Lee. That is a Searchlight or Touchstone. I can't remember which studio released it. Whichever studio released that one has had like the last four best actress wins or something like that. So they know how to win in this category. And apparently she is an absolute stunner. This movie is also written and produced by Brady Corbet, who made last year's Brutalist. It's directed by his wife, Nina Fastfold. And so if it brings the same sensibilities that Brutalist had, it could easily lock in a win.
Okay, let's talk about potential best actors here because I think this is a loaded category. I'm just going to throw out a few and you kind of give me thumbs up or thumbs down. But I haven't seen Blue Moon, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard great things about Ethan Hawke, and we brought him up before. And to me, this sort of like when we said earlier about Paul Thomas Bennett Anderson being in his time, kind of feel like this could be Ethan Hawke's time.
I agree. And he's finally taken a role that's, I don't mean this in a demeaning way, it's Oscar bait. He's totally transforming. He's playing someone very against the grain of the types of roles he usually takes. He's playing like a 5 foot tall person who's very mellow and has a very high voice. It's just very not Ethan Hawke at all. And so I would not be surprised at all if they just love the transformation. This happened with Gary Oldman when he was Winston Churchill. He looked nothing like himself, and the Academy loved that. And it was their excuse to give it to him that year after he had racked up this incredible, incredible resume.
But for him to win, this is just some of the possibilities. Once again, what you say, hey, Timothy Chalamet seems to be nominated every single year. So we can expect that again from Marty Supreme, correct?
Yes, and the embargo for reviews on that movie lifted today, and the responses to his performance specifically are unlike anything I have heard for any of the acting performances this year for lead actor. I mean, people are talking about him just like ascending as the star of note right now. So it could be that after we see that movie, it's not even a discussion anymore, but I'm not sure.
He's been in so much to be so young. I still kind of hang on to Call Me by Your Name as one of his elite performances. I know a lot of people here recently would talk about the Dylan movie and all, and that's fair. But it for me, it was Call Me by Your Name.
I mean, he was 20 years old at that time. He was extremely young, and he's not even 30 yet. He's not even 30. And think about his body of work.
So we mentioned that the one battle after another could get multiples, and that. DiCaprio, I mean, your Ethan Hawke would have to take on a DiCaprio in this situation. I think you would
Who
agree
has
with me.
one? Who has one already? So that could work against him as far as securing a win. He will be nominated, but I'm
And
not sure
Penn
who.
would have to be a supporting actor, right? He wouldn't be qualified for Best Actor here in this category. Sean Penn, correct?
Oh yeah, he's supporting.
Yeah. But there's a brilliant actor in Sinners too, Michael B. Jordan.
Yep. And I was worried that his performance would be passed over because it's a genre film. It's a very horror centric movie, but he's really got his hooks in to the critics. They loved his performance, and I'm glad they see the brilliance of it because he's portraying two different characters who are very similar in appearance. They both dress well, they're both very macho men, but they're so different. And the way he employs like really subtle facial tics to transmit their differences was really cool. So I would love to see him still be in it and his physical acting. He's huge and he just conveys so much.
I'm thinking Benicio del Toro would be another supporting actor, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. But I got to go back to Paul, because the Academy loves him, and that would be one that would qualify in the actor category, correct?
I think it's possible he's in supporting.
Okay, wow. If that's the case, leave me. I want to be a supporting actor if I'm nominated. I'm like, I got no chance. I mean, looking around the room at that. I mean, we're talking about some loaded categories this year.
I agree. And I think wherever they decide to run Paul could determine whether or not he even gets in. Because I feel more sure about Benicio and Sean Penn than I do about Paul Mescal getting in supporting actor. I think there might be a spot for him in lead actor, but I'm just not sure if they're going to claim that as a movie with two leads or not.
The Power Studios, I think, are going to have a great night on Academy Award night, nominations and potential win. One battle after another. That's Warner Brothers. Focus Features is Hamnet. Sinners was Warner Brothers as well. Neon had the sentimental value. The Frankenstein. Netflix is going to have a fun night too, I think, because they have Frankenstein. They have the not the Avatar movie, but the Jay. I haven't even
Jake,
asked you about this. Jay Kelly. No Other Choice. They have. Neon has. Hey, I haven't asked you about. I mentioned Focus Features in Hamnet. Is it Begonia? Is that how you say it? No,
yep,
that's a Focus Feature movie as well. Your thoughts on it after seeing it?
I love it. It's I think a potential dark horse to sneak in that 9 or 10 slot. I feel much more confident that Frankenstein will get in, but I think that it's in the 11 to 15 at least.
Marty Supreme will be A24. Wicked is Universal. Sony has the Avatar, not Sony, but 20th Century has the Avatar movie. So that looks like the Powerhouse Studios are in for quite, I don't know, a lot of nominations, I guess I can say, and many, many wins.
Which I must say, it's really cool that you bring up Neon as a powerhouse studio because less than 10 years ago, they were nothing.
Nothing. But
Nothing.
not that's not the case now, though.
They might have 4 out of 5 of the international features.
Wow. Now that's staggering.
Yeah.
That's 80, that's 80%. That's staggering. And they would have sentimental value, no other choice. And
It was just
what
an
was it called?
accident.
It's just there's another movie it's called It Was Just an Something Accident, maybe?
Yep. Secret Agent as well. And Sirat, I can't remember what it's called, Sirat. I mean, so that's 5. They might have all 5.
What about a movie called Is This Thing On?
Yeah. It's gotten very mellow reviews overall. I think that it could sneak in a couple acting categories, but it just hasn't quite gotten the buzz. I think it was released in New York, and it's a very New York movie made by Bradley Cooper. And so if it was going to find really fertile soil, that was probably where it was going to happen. And I just haven't heard people being totally blown away. I'm very excited, but as far as its Oscar chances, I'm a bit pessimistic.
What about Rental Family? Any shot there to get Best Picture?
It's possible. It definitely seems like a crowd pleaser, but I thought it was going to be like a huge crowd pleaser, and it's ended up being kind of muted response from the audience. Not a ton of people are seeing it. Um, right now I'm saying no.
Could Ethan Hawke carry Blue Moon to a nomination for Best Picture?
It seems like no. And
Okay.
interested to see that movie. It's streaming now. You have to pay like $20, but I might do it soon anyways. I watched the trailer the other day. I had no idea what it was about. And I watched the trailer, and just based on the footage in the trailer, it looks like there's almost no variation in the locations. It looks like it's almost all taking place in like a bar or a restaurant. So I'm not sure if the movie itself is going to really appeal to the Academy or if it's mostly just going to be the performances.
I think A House of Dynamite is not going to get to the level of Best Picture nomination and probably worth seeing though. What about Nuremberg? Last movie I want to ask you about, Nuremberg.
I've not seen it, and I've heard some pretty good things actually. I think that performance-wise, I doubt it's going to get anything just given the competition. I haven't heard anybody reacting extremely viscerally to these performances. And if it does sneak in, it'll be kind of a Green Book situation where some people in the audience loved it, but the critics largely did not like it. But Green Book won on those grounds, so I could see it sneaking in. But at this point, I think it would be like the number 10 slot.
Daniel, I'd like to have you back a couple of weeks before the actual ceremony. In 30 seconds, are there any final thoughts for tonight, though?
Everybody should definitely go watch Train Dreams on Netflix. I think that that one could sneak into the 8, 9, or 10 spot. It is in contention for my favorite movie of the year at this point, and it's not going to get as much love at the Oscars as it should, but it is a must watch in my opinion. It's made by the writer-director duo who did Sing Sing last year, which was one of my favorites of last year. So these guys at this point are two for two in a massive way.
And you have launched your own YouTube channel. Where can folks follow you?
I did start my own YouTube channel. It's called Dano at the Movies, Danno. That's my nickname. Definitely go subscribe. I'm putting up a couple new reviews every week. Right now, all the movies that I'm seeing are pretty interesting to talk about because it's Oscar season. So definitely tune in.
We'll throw that up on the screen as well. But now I've got a challenge for Jake Barton, who's producing in Noonan, Georgia. I want you to share 30, 45 seconds of some footage there from Costa Rica. And later on, Jake and we will discuss that. I'll put him on the camera and he's going to throw everybody's picks in from the football panel at the end of the show. Daniel Cummings in Dallas, Texas, and Jake Barton in Noonan, Georgia. I'm Tony Jones in Memphis, Tennessee. Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
See you next time right here on Talking with Tony. Here is some footage from Jake Barton in Costa Rica.